Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Adeptus Ridiculous Podcast. My name is DK Diamantes. His name is Kirioth. And where's Bricky, you ask? We're not really sure, but that's okay because Kirioth is here. It's lovely. And before we get into all that, if you enjoy today's episode of the podcast and maybe you want to support us monetarily, head on over to patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous, where you can get access to the Discord, bloopers if they happen. $15 tier gets you access to all of our posters in crispy, digital, wonderful form. You should check it out. They're great. Patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous. And, well, I guess I kind of have to shill the merch now. You should probably check out the link in the description, orchid8.com, for our merch. There's shirts, there's hoodies, there's dice, there's objective mats, all that good stuff. Check it out. It's wonderful. I love it. You'll love it. Kirioth, how are you doing today? Because
do you need rescuing?
Yeah, a little bit. Because actually, we have something else to shill a little bit today, don't we, Kirioth?
We do. I'll tell you what. Let's do the thing where you gotta wait to find out.
Oh,
what we can do. You listen to this episode. If you really enjoy this episode, which you will, because it's going to be great, then maybe there'll be something a little bit extra for you if it's your sort of thing. And if it isn't, you should try it again anyway, because, you never know. You might suddenly discover something about yourself and go, yes, I'm 100% in.
Spicy. Self-discovery episode? Let's go.
Can you imagine how long that would be? It would be atrocious, the length of a self-discovery episode.
Yeah, self-discovery in the world of 40K? Ooh, boy, we're in for a long trip.
Oh, well, hang on. What makes you think that it's going to be Warhammer 40K?
Oh, well, I guess that's
Ooh.
true. That's true. We've done Helldivers, we've done Trench Crusade, we've done Fantasy. That's true. There's no guarantee that this is going to be about 40K.
I will give you something of a hint and tell you that there is absolutely the opposite of a guarantee that it will be 40K this week, because I don't want you to spend too long on the quote because it's not fair. Because I've already done that once. Because
it's not fair to the viewers to waste their time.
I was just thinking of the time where I just didn't tell you anything about what it was except for the quote, which felt a bit mean. In retrospect, I was like, really, that could have applied to a lot of stuff, and I gave you no help. So, I'm going to give you a quote. I think you'll probably get onto this pretty quick, but we'll see. The infernal powers are well aware of the council, and through the corrupted saintly relics they hold, the great lords of hell are roused when the council is in session, and set forth to challenge their hated opponents with their unholy willpower. On such occasions, a fierce spiritual battle then takes place, and the skies above Rome, big hint, burn with hellfire and flashes of holy light.
I mean, honestly, the Rome part probably, everything else before that was a pretty big giveaway that, man, it's a Trench Crusade episode today, right?
But the Rome was the cherry on top.
I mean, yeah. I would assume it's like what is it? It's the one we haven't done. I don't remember are they literally just called the Council of Seven or something? Because they have like really cool minis and stuff, and I can't remember what they're called.
The Court of the Seven-Headed Serpent.
That's the one.
It's, to be fair, we are going to mention them. We are going to talk about them, but this is a bit more of a speculative episode because we're going to be doing some speculation on the nature of the war between Hell and Earth in Trench Crusade. So we're going to talk about the nature of Hell's invasion, the assistance that is granted to humanity by Heaven, the nature of something called the Covenant of Hell, and what the potential endgame ideals are for both the demonic lords below and the Lord God himself, since fairly important in this universe.
Yeah, and especially because neither heaven or hell wants to get directly involved, because if demons are like, oh yeah, we're gonna send a general of Satan out, then it's like God's like, okay, well here's an angel that will nuke your stuff, and oh by the way, God could just erase existence. So
oh yeah.
Yeah, so the way they manipulate humanity to sort of fight the war for them without directly getting involved is interesting. It reminds me of oh god, this is such a big boss baby thing whenever we do Covenant. Or not Covenant, whenever we do Trench Crusade. It always reminds me of Constantine, and how there's like a war between heaven and hell, but neither side gets directly involved. They just see which one can, like, how many humans can we corrupt in hell, and how many people can we make sure have faith in God in heaven, and they kind of have this like war where they never really directly get involved, but it's always happening. And
Yep. That's actually kind of reminding me, there was something that I was going to put in this script, but then I didn't want it to go like super long, because there's 1,000 interesting references you could throw in. But it also made me think a little bit about Good Omens. Both the book and the Netflix show, because there's multiple points, especially in the Netflix show, where an angel and a demon become friends because they spend all their time on Earth effectively countering each other's work. One is trying to save people, the other is trying to make them condemn themselves. And there's like at least one point specifically where Crowley is like, I mean, if you're here trying to make people do good and I'm here trying to make people do bad, we could just both go home and say that we did our job. And that is very that feels very appropriate to this sort of conversation and this constant struggle from one side to the other.
Mm-hmm. They're best frenemies.
Oh, they're the best. I love them. So we've talked about Trench Crusade a fair bit at this point, and throughout all of our episodes and the research that goes into them, one thing is very clear. Humanity is not having a good time. Even understatement of the decade.
Put it mildly, yeah.
Even the humans that have some involvement with hell are mostly not having a good time, with only the most horrible of wrong-uns really getting anything out of the arrangement. Granted, those of the Christian persuasion can find a little respite here and there, but thousands are summoned to the front lines via visions and voices every single day, so even the ones who are relatively safe are still not really safe, because they could wake up one morning full of zeal, wanting to go to the front lines and drown a heretic in mud. It could be argued that the Iron Sultanate have a good number of people with something close to a peaceful life, but the fact is that staying out of this colossal conflict between literal demons and humanity is simply not an option. So even behind the indestructible wall of the Sultanate, men and women are called on to leave their homes and venture out into no man's land, where a bloody death is pretty high on the list of possibilities at any given moment.
So sometimes you just don't have a choice. Sometimes you just wake up and it's just like, yup, the Father filled me with the holy zeal, and I am going to the forefront and I am fighting heretics to my pretty guaranteed death, and they just have no say in it. It's just like, oh yeah, man, I'm filled with the holy zeal, and even if they were like, wow, that seems dangerous, I don't want to do it, they kind of just have to. Like, no choice.
The Trench Pilgrims are like, they are essentially a disorganized fighting force, in that they just wake up one morning and go, right, I have to fight for God, let's go. That's it. They get visions, they get voices, they feel a sense of like prophecy, and they know that they must travel to the front line and go for it. So you could be like right in the middle of a very peaceful area that isn't really heavily affected by the war, and still just wake up and be like, well, it's my time to go murdering. Let's go. And that's it. You just have to.
It's been a while since we did the Trench Pilgrims episode, but I thought they were the ones that were like, oh yeah, I need salvation because I've maybe done wrong, or I was found to have done something wrong. I have been found to have blasphemed, and they sort of just give you some ramshamble stuff and off you go. I guess I didn't realize, or I forgot, that God could just be like, no, you're doing this, go fight and die, and you have just no say in the matter.
there's a whole lot of like personal interpretation, it feels like. Like someone could have led an amazing, good life, but if there's one thing they feel guilty about, and if that guilt is strong enough, then what do you do in this world? You go and fight heretics. You go and try and stop the invasion of your world and stop hell from trying to take your people. I feel like there's a lot of kind of, it might not even be necessarily a sin, but it's the guilt thing that probably causes the biggest issue. So in a way, you're getting like the most good of people, because those are the people who really think about that stuff, who are diving towards the front line with their granddad's musket and just going, I'm in.
Well, yeah. Okay. All right. Okay.
So ever since the Templars performed the act of ultimate heresy in Jerusalem and brought hell to earth, humanity as a whole has suffered indescribable torture and death, somehow managing to not only cling to existence, but also hold out against the supernatural forces levelled against them. And it's an impressive feat, but is it more or less impressive when you consider the idea that God and the forces of heaven are on their side, giving them assistance where needed? Does that make it more or less remarkable? Because they're fighting for their own survival, but we know how much of an influence the church has over a good proportion of the people in this setting, and the church are calling not just for the defense of the world, but to take up arms in the name of the Lord, which puts a slightly different complexion on things.
I mean, when you see what they're fighting against, though, I'm just like, oh, yeah, that is pretty impressive. That's, to be willing to fight that. I'd chalk that up to impressive.
It is, but how much of it is zealotry and how much of it is actually like the call for survival is one of the things that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So when you like add to all of this the fact that full-blown demons seemingly cannot set foot into the world, with the vast majority of Hell's forces being humans who've been given a few gifts, be it weapons or some sort of horrific blessing, constructs created in Hell and then spewed out to fulfill a specific purpose, or other more like esoteric beings that contain a sliver of demonic or angelic power much reduced and weakened. The way in which humanity has been forced to fight ends up feeling very strange when you properly look into it. I mean, you could say that angels and demons do walk the earth in some form. So there's not much information about either of them showing up in Trench Crusade, like in person, but there are little fragments of divinity that kind of float around in various forms. Sorcerers of the Court of the Seven-Headed Serpent, for example, are formed from a tiny sliver of a fallen angel, one that shattered after being cast out of heaven. The remnants aren't dead, they aren't alive, they're trapped in the exact moment that their original divine life ended. As a result, their angelic gifts are gone, but they still have the potential for channeling vast amounts of power, making them excellent conduits for magic. And there's another unit as well, the Pit Locusts. They've got a couple of different origin theories, one being that they are remnants of angels that debase themselves at altars to Baal or Moloch. Another example, potentially, of something truly divine roaming the earth, but as a minute fraction of what it once was.
Oh. So there's just a fallen angel out there that somehow it fell. It is perpetually living the moment of its death, but it is also like shards of it are powering like hellbound sorcerers that are seeking to destroy everything that it once tried to defend.
It shattered. Like when it was kicked out of heaven, it just exploded into, potentially millions upon millions of tiny shards. But it's not ever really died. It's also not really alive, and the sorcerers are like formed around it.
Gotcha. For some reason in my head when I heard fallen angel, I thought you meant an angel had been killed by like, I don't know, some crazy demon. I didn't realize it was like an angel that had just been like, God kicked it out of heaven because it was acting too frisky.
It's the proper like biblical version of Fallen, where it's a case of you have been fully booted out of heaven.
like
go.
Lucifer, right?
Yes,
Lucifer.
yeah.
Got you. Okay, I thought maybe like a demon had killed it, and then it just burst into shards, and I was like, great, it has to perpetually live through that. Wonderful. It was just trying to do the right thing. But that's okay. Gotcha.
The pit.
Wow, that's such sick
horrific.
Oh my god. It does.
So
it even
good.
has the crown. Oh man.
Also, the wings are similar to the wings from the what's it called? The Seraph from the Path of the Beast, or is it the Cult of Metamorphosis? I forget which one, but there's like those wings show up on multiple bits of artwork to do with angels, which is super cool.
Yeah. God, the artwork and the imagery in Trench Crusade is top notch.
It's so good. So like we've got the pit locust there and the sorcerers as kind of examples of a bit of divinity that has been like forced into something else. It's not just angels who get the reduced to a shadow of their former selves treatment though. Two of the most, that's the sorcerer. Absolutely. Whoa. Jesus.
Not what I was expecting. No, Jesus is not. Well, I guess Jesus kind of is involved. This is Trench Crusade, so yeah. Jesus! That's crazy, though. That's like some Baphomet-looking shit.
It's great. I love that he uses a stone tablet. Very 10 Commandments. There.
Yeah. Very, yep. Are his intestines a snake?
It does look like it. It's something I've never noticed before, but now you've pointed it out, and yeah, I think the intestines are a snake.
Wow, religious imagery in my Trench Crusade? Never.
Who could imagine? His heart is a screaming face.
I've
never known. Oh my god, it is! It's someone's skull.
Yeah, I didn't think it was screaming. I was just like, yeah, that's just the top portion of someone's skull. It might be screaming, but without that lower jaw part, you just can't tell. It definitely could be screaming. I guess. Listen,
it probably is. Let's be honest.
It's Trench Crusade. You know what, Shai? You're so right. He is 100% screaming.
Oh God, I can't see the sensitive content. What has happened?
Man, Shai just zoomed in on the skull. Hey, again, without that jaw part, you can't tell if it's screaming or not.
I know we've already made one Boss Baby reference, but anytime I see a skull where it shouldn't be, I just think of the bear from Annihilation, which is some of the best imagery. But whoever came up with that, it is. Whoever came up with the bear that screams "Help me" as it tries to, murder people, they need Jesus. On theme, they need Jesus.
That's something that that's a real thing, right? That's a real thing with some animals where they will
being able to
mimic the sound of right. I think that's a thing anyway. Or I might just be too anime-pilled because that was a thing in Hunter x Hunter.
No, there's birds that can mimic sounds almost like 100% accurately, but that bear had that woman's skull implanted in its own face. Which is way,
especially when it's like a perfect copy too, and it's like, oh god, that's
I love it,
horrible.
But at the same time, God, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, great movie though.
I watch it at least once a year. I genuinely do. It's so good.
Fair.
So yeah, it's not just the angels who get the reduced to a shadow of their former selves treatment. Two of the most demonic looking things in the court of the seven-headed serpent are the Yoke Fiends and the Ptor. Two creatures which you'd look at and unequivocally say, yep, that is definitely a demon. And you'd be half right. So the Yoke Fiends are the offspring of devils, but because this is hell and this is Trench Crusade, it's not that easy. They're actually the stillbirths of cursed devils, 1,000 generations of them getting increasingly feeble, and they are crossbred with beasts of the field. So you've basically got dead on arrival devil children crossed with cows. That's what that guy is.
Oh, I see. Uh-huh. Oh, wow.
Absolutely horrible backstory for them. Awful. They are really stupid. Like, really stupid. They hate everything, which, of course, you would, because, they are what they are, and they can only perform simple tasks. And to top it all off, there's a little shard of divinity in their heart, which reminds them that they are the progeny of fallen angels, which it definitely does not help with the whole filled with hatred for creation thing.
Oh man, that's a rough life to live. That's
it's so harsh.
Oh man, that's one of those moments where you're just like, "Oh man, I'm so tired on Monday morning. My life is awful." It's like, "You could be this thing."
Yep.
It's not so bad. Your small meager problems, you could be a stillbirth crossed with a divinity
literally
angel
just
thing.
With a cow. You could just
with
be
a cow.
A DOA devil crossed with a cow, and that's what you are.
And you've got a little shard of divinity in you to remind you that life is indeed as awful as you think it is.
Yep.
Look, listen, if ever there was a time for white text, can we do the classic, looks like somebody's got a case of the Mondays for these guys?
Yoke Fiends having a perpetual Monday.
A case of the Mondays, yeah. Jeez. Anyway, go on.
So, the main thing behind all of that, though, is they're not full demons. Not even close. They are as diluted as it gets, despite looking pretty damn demonic, I think it's fair to say. The other one that you might look at and assume is a full demon is the Ptor, which is an insane bit of art and an insane miniature. I mean, people who see these things on the battlefield believe they've seen the devil, which is totally fair. Look at it.
How do you not think that's the devil? Like, oh my God. It's just, wow. That's yeah. I mean, every time, so I've probably seen this artwork, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 times. Every time I see it, it still gets the same, like, reaction out of me, as if I'm seeing it for the first time. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, oh no.
Every time. I've seen this thing so many times, and it still shocks me every time.
It's so good. And you would see this and you go, well, yeah, that is clearly the devil. So you would assume, surely, full-on demon, right?
100%.
No. Not a full demon. This is the thing. They're hella sneaky. So the Prators are once again half beast, but they are more towards the jackal or hyena side of things, with the other half of them being full-blooded devil. So we're getting closer than ever to getting a proper demon on the field, which is very much the point, because the Prators, they're not full devil, they have some of the blood of the natural order in them, so they are capable of sneaking into the mortal realm without breaking the aforementioned covenant of hell.
Oh, wow, they are sneaky. Also, jackal, really?
Yeah, I think it's the weird sort of backward legs and the altogether too many teeth when it comes to the hyena/jackal reference. It's just, there's a lot of spiky teeth going on there.
Yeah, it's weird because that has hooves too.
I'm assuming
so I wouldn't have assumed
I guess
jackal.
That's the demon part. I'm just putting all the teeth down to the jackal.
That's
all I've got.
Because the sort of sideways ones do have a sort of animalistic hyena dog-like quality to them. I guess even the wing mouths, like the way the tongues are and the way the teeth are, do have sort of like a jackal feral dog-like.
I'm sorry.
I guess.
I love the description. Even the wing mouths have got a sort of jack.
Well, what else are you going to call them, man? That's your
You're not wrong. No, you're not wrong. I'm not going after you. It's a totally fair description. But why does it exist as a thing that needs to be described? The wing mouths.
And the wing hands, too.
Oh,
yeah, it's pretty
horrible.
But it's interesting because these two soldiers, demons, half demons, not fully demons, are sort of kind of products of just like, oh yeah, we got a little piece of divinity and now we're going to use it against you. And it's like, hooray, you shot yourself in the foot, humanity. Hooray. Or not humanity, but you shot yourself in the foot, heaven. Yay.
They're horrific. I love them. I absolutely love them. Shy, what is that?
That's just a regular one. Which I guess
that's
I
a
can
dude's
see.
Wing. Actually, you can kind of see it.
Yeah, once Shy posted a picture of the jackal, it's like, well,
jackals are way cuter than I thought they were. I don't know what I thought a jackal was, but it wasn't basically a fox with an angry expression. I mean, that's basically all that is. I'm going to get told off for that. Okay, let's...
Kyria said it, not me. I didn't say anything.
I mean, between that and saying that possums aren't a marsupial, it's just game over for me. So,
oh, yeah. You're so good.
The question is, what does the Covenant of Hell do? We're not really sure. It's not very clear, but we do know that it binds each rebel seraphim and it prevents full-blooded demons or fallen angels from walking the earth. For me, though, the biggest question is, why would Hell abide by this agreement in the first place? So the most popular theory for this is that a full-blooded demon going for a nice walk around the trenches would be an open invitation for hostilities between heaven and hell to resume with absolutely no care for what happens to the rest of creation. So I'm going to give you something to read, which is stated in Revelations chapter 12, verses 7 to 12. There you go.
Okay. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and the dragon fought and his angels and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, the serpent of old called the devil and Satan, who deceived the whole world. He was cast out onto the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now have come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, who accused them before our God day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and for the sea, for the devil has come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time.
Beautifully done. The key part there is right at the end, which is, he knoweth that he hath but a short time. That was the King James, 2000 and something translation, by the way. Look, that I got the verses and then I was like, that's fine. It's pretty much the same gist across all of them. It's a pain to read. Just in case anyone was like, yeah, but which version was it? It was King James something or other, whatever. Satan and his fallen angels aren't necessarily here for a long time, but when it comes to the dismantling of God's work and the tormenting of mankind, they are definitely here for a good time. Hell has goals when it comes to the invasion of Earth. The various lords want slaves and they want suffering, not least to fuel their goetic magic, which in turn gives them power in the court. The infighting, betrayal, constant jockeying for position, it's built into them. But they know what they want, and they want power and influence. No matter how powerful they want to be, jumping the gun and stepping out of that horrible hell portal could be the thing that kicks off the final conflict, which, if we're going by the same book, would be bad for hell as a whole. And I have another thing for you to read, which is from Revelations 20.
Oh, man. We are just reading the scriptures today, boys.
Yeah.
Wait, let's see. Where does that one start? Okay. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations to the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together for battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. And they went out over the breadth of the earth, and compassed the camp of the saints about, and the beloved city. And fire came down from God out of heaven, and devoured them. And the devil who had deceived them was cast into the lake of fire, fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and they shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, standing before God, and the books were opened, and another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works.
Now, if that's how things are guaranteed to go down, you can understand why hell might not want to push their luck. Because according to Revelations, they lose.
Yeah, they that's the understatement. Yeah, they do indeed lose. I kind of just assumed that they didn't want to, start shit because they didn't want angels, and God ceasing existence. But yeah, this also works as like, it's written that we're guaranteed to lose, so,
I will say, by the way, before we move on, when it came to us deciding what this episode was going to be, I said to Shai, there'll be a bunch of stuff we can get from Revelations for this, forgetting that I absolutely hate reading Revelations. And I immediately crashed out, and I filled my chat with Possum just full of vitriol and annoyance. And all he really gave me was just LMAO. The guy who wrote Revelations, it's John of Patmos is who it's believed to be, and I've decided that John of Patmos is to me what Phil Kelly is to Possum. And to be fair, I don't know if Phil Kelly has written the same quantity of tedious bollocks as John of Patmos allegedly did, so I don't want to cast unnecessary shade on him, but I got like 10 minutes into researching this bit and I was like, I hate this. I hate it.
No.
It's so annoying. It's really just tedious. And there was 7 angels with 7 wings and 4 eyes and 8 bowls containing 9 plagues. And shut up. Stop.
Just like that. Shut up. Bible, stop it.
I hate it. It's so irritating. It's just garbage. I'm not here to offend anyone who believes I was raised extremely religious, Anglican Catholic to be precise. But even when I was going to church literally 3 to 4 times a week, I still hated Revelations back then, and nothing's changed. That is maintained.
There you go.
Anyway, so there's great potential then for things to go badly wrong for hell should they play this whole war against humanity thing wrong. It's already been well established in the Bible that God is not against a bit of mass death to get his point across, as demonstrated, to be fair, by the flooding of the earth and getting Noah to get 2 of every animal. It's a real shame he let the unicorns escape, but there we go. The 10 plagues of Egypt, particularly horrifying, by the way, if you're going with that one translation that says it was like a plague of frog, as opposed to the plural. I love that.
Old Testament God was more than willing to get his point across in a very bloody way.
Yeah,
Old Testament,
one massive frog, just the one,
just a giant biblically accurate frog. Yeah.
Okay, I would love fan art of a biblically accurate frog, please. That would be amazing. Oh God. And, then there's also the prophecies of one John of Patmos, who, at one point, by the way, reading through, claims to have eaten a little scroll given to him by an angel who also told him 7 secrets that he wasn't allowed to write down for some reason. But he did also say that God would do horrible, horrible things to all followers of the beast and then cast fire down upon them. You see why he's annoying? An angel showed up. He gave me a small scroll. Yeah, he gave him a small scroll. It tasted sweet. Then the angel said 7 secrets that he wasn't allowed to write down, but he had plenty of time to write down all the other shit that he talked about. So Cool, I guess.
Well, all right.
I love that. Be not afraid.
Also, it's interesting. Like, it must suck to be like. Well, this is gonna seem like an obvious thing to say, but it must suck to be like, with the forces of hell and Satan, because it's like, at what point are you just like, yeah, it's been foretold that we're losing. Like, how exactly do we stop prophecy that's, like, I mean, I guess you can try and fight it, and you can try and look for sneaky ways to fight it, but it's like, oh, man, it is predetermined that we suck and die.
See, part of me thinks it's just there is so much. Oh my gosh.
I hope that's the biblically accurate frog. That's adorable.
I will legitimately get that as a tattoo if I can get permission. I would 100% do that. That is amazing. When it comes to the people serving hell, some of them are like, oh, we've been enslaved, but some of them are really like in it to win it, and they just hate God and hate creation and hate heaven, and I don't know that there's the foresight there to really think, well, what if we lose? I think it's just so instinct-driven that they don't care.
Also, I love how casually you're just like, oh, we've been enslaved. Oh, yeah, I guess we've been enslaved by the devil. I guess we kind of have to fight. All right, cool.
I mean, when you look at the map, there's a good chunk of like, people who are they just grow up there. Like, they're just born in that environment, and like, what do you do? You either try and run away, or you fight for the occupying force. That's it. You've got no other choices. Well, sold at a meat market in hell, that's the other choice. But when it comes down to it, what are you going to do? You're going to either try to redeem yourself, which is unlikely. You're going to be enslaved, which you can't do anything about, or you're going to volunteer, which maybe gets you a bit more than being enslaved. It's awful, but there's no real alternative to what's happening in that area,
Yeah, that's true. But just like I've been enslaved. It is what it is.
Wah. Like, I don't know. It's
we're going back to somebody's got a case of the Mondays. Oh, been enslaved. Oh well.
I was born in the territories of hell. Time to strap a fetus to my belt and get in there. Like, what?
Wow, that was yeah.
I still don't know what the fetus does. I don't know, but it's in the artwork, and every time I see it, I'm like, oh, wow, there's a fetus on his belt.
There's no documented reason for that thing being there other than just, I'm evil.
There's no mention of it in their, like, war gear or anything. I don't know why it's there. I think it's there because, they're evil as shit. I think that's the primary reason. If I'm totally wrong, I would love to be wrong, but I haven't seen anything to contradict that yet. So
I would love if the justification was, man, we've made these evil hell troops, and they just look a little too just like normal troops. We really got to sell that these guys hell spawn. Just they're working for hell. They're working. How can we do that? I know. Belt fetus.
It was the fashion at the time. And that feels like a very old reference. I don't know if that's still... I feel like that was an old reference when I was a kid, so I don't think that's going to hold up. But anyway.
I think it holds up. I knew the reference once you said the fashion of the time. I knew. I knew.
One of those immortal references. It never dies. It just stays with you. So with all of that in mind, well, maybe not all of it in mind, but the relevant parts in mind, it's probably a good time to talk about what heaven is doing to assist the forces of humanity against the horrible threat of hell. Because divine intervention being given to humanity presents us with a few different options as to the nature of the war, at least from the perspective of heaven or hell. So we know that hell constructs things like the artillery witch or the werewolf. They've got half devil, half beast slaves, half-devil, half-beast leaders, a few fragments of angel-based nightmares, and a staggering number of human converts who range from slave all the way up to person so full of hatred towards God that they saw their own head off, in the case of the chorister for Hell. Like, Hell wants results, and the demon lords who reside there are more than happy to make those results happen in fairly blatant ways. On the other side of the aisle, or technically the other side of no man's land, we have humanity with the full backing of heaven. Or do they have the full backing of heaven? That's the big question.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the Iron Sultanate has pretty decent backing by heaven. Like, God was like, hey, look, voomp, giant wall. It protects you against literally hell. So I feel like the Sultanate have pretty good standing with Big G, right?
We are going to get onto that, and I'm very happy you brought that up, because there's a few different things here. So we talked about the trench pilgrims earlier, right? So the everyday men and women who wake up with a strong urge to go and rip the neck out of a heretic or 20. They don't care about dying. They're all in for fighting for the Lord. Mm-hmm. Valuable reinforcements, great work ethic. They're self-organizing, very important. You couldn't ask for anything more. I mean, they could ask for, like, super strength or some sort of anti-demon bullets or something, but they don't get that. They get a pointy helmet from the church, all the mud they can eat, and everything else they bring from home or take from a corpse. There's not much.
All the mud you can eat.
Oh, there's loads in No Man's Land.
Love it.
Absolutely stuffed.
All you can eat buffet of mud. Thank you, God. I'm living the dream.
There's not really much in the way of divine assistance there. I mean, sometimes someone will suffer a fatal wound and shrug it off, so that does count for something, except it doesn't really count for anything when you consider the source for that blessing. Now, here's a question to put you on the spot. Can you remember who keeps trench pilgrims alive if they get shot, but then just stay in the fight?
Oh, shoot. I can't remember their name, but I remember we talked about them. They're more or less the commissar version. They're the version of a Trench Crusade commissar, and I can't remember what they're called. Don't they have, like, the big... Wow, they have some weird thing that has, like, a bunch of skulls on it. Is it like a shield or something? And it's just like, oh, yeah, don't upset that guy. He's got a giant skull of shields or something. Can't remember what his name is, though.
You're not a mile away. You're thinking of the guy who keeps the morale up and keeps them, like, charging forwards. There is a specific entity that intervenes on behalf of trench pilgrims, which is the 7th Metachrist.
So, a Metachrist.
That is...
I didn't realize the Metachrist actually got into the fighting, air quotes.
That's the thing. For the most part, they don't, like, in person. So, the 7th Metachrist, like, it's a divine creature, but it's created by man. It's a clone shadow of something presumably far more powerful, that being Jesus. Yeah. And monks from the Mentalist order have managed to clone him. Those clones are responsible for the genetically enhanced monsters that fight on the side of heaven. Unless God is giving divine insight when it comes to the discovery of modern genetics, the 7th Metachrist and all of the others, that's a human achievement. Yes, they are cloning Jesus Christ, one of the Trinity is involved, but that's an indirect involvement caused by humanity, not a God-given gift. The 7th Metachrist is the one that resurrects trench pilgrims and allows them to carry on fighting even after they've been, borderline shot in half.
You'd think God would be kind of pissed about that, about humans just, like, cloning his kid and just, like, turning it into, like, this horrific, twisted shadow version of it. You'd think he'd be kind of. You think they'd be kind of pissed about that. You'd think that would border on, slightly blasphemous, heretical things to do. I mean, granted, it does make it so it's like, oh, well, maybe it is a little blasphemous and heretical for them to, mutate my fucking son. But, well, it does help him fight hell and the demons, and I don't really have to super get involved, and it's kind of working out for him, so I guess I can sweep this under the rug, maybe.
This is where it gets really fun and interesting. So, in a similar vein, there's the communicants. So, the big chunky mutated freaks.
Yeah.
There's either the ones that have got the cross nailed to their face, because of course, or the ones that have got the giant anti-tank rifle. Surely a gift from the Lord, right? Except not really. Again, because the blood and flesh of Jesus Christ that these guys consume, it's not from the original Son of God. It's from the Metacrists. Even the Paladins, those 18-foot tall, perfect communicants, they were created using the blood not of Jesus Christ himself, but of a near perfect Metachrist. Those guys can enter hell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they can get in and out of hell. But again, it's not actually by the grace of God. Instead, they have specially designed armor, which is an invention of man. Even when you get down to things like the stigmatic nuns. So the stigmatic nuns, they gain strength from being wounded, and they manifest wounds to match those suffered by, not Jesus Christ, but by the third Metachrist. You're probably beginning to see a pattern here, at least when it comes to the forces of humanity, which are augmented by divine power. There are strong creatures and strong humans. Are they getting their strength directly from heaven, directly from God's blessings? Or are they getting them from other humans who have worked out how to siphon that off?
Yeah, because they're really not getting anything from the divine. This is all human-made discoveries and human-made ways to sort of this is pseudo-divinity. This is pseudo-Christ, and we're getting all these not quite holy powers, but kind of holy powers, and yeah, the heaven isn't really doing much for them. Heaven's doing stuff for the Iron Sultanate, like we said, constructed a wall that stops hell. But these other guys are kind of just doing their own thing. And I guess I would imagine heaven's well, we probably should step in, but we're also kind of benefiting from this. We do want them to keep fighting hell and the demons. They're good little soldiers. But, ooh, it's kind of cringe what they're doing.
I love that you have reached my most paranoid theory, 5 pages before the end of the script. I'm so happy that you've locked in that quick.
Yeah, honestly, once I feel if Trench Crusade ever hits a finale, it's going to be a finale where it's hooray, we stopped hell, the prophecy was fulfilled, Satan, Lucifer, the council, all that sealed off, gone, hooray. And then God turned on humanity. Because, guys, you bastardized and mutated my son for, your goals. And while that was nice of you to do, and it did help, y'all are sinners.
I love it. I love it. I'm so happy.
Them.
It's all the same in the end. So, if we're talking about heavenly intervention, we have to mention things like the Synod of Strategic Prophecy and the Observers, and the other guys whose names I've immediately tacticians. That's it. So this lot, they're all about listening very carefully to try and make out the word of God, with the Observers specifically using carefully honed skills of meditation and their fancy helmets that look like the droids that the Empire uses in Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
They use these to access the immediate past, present, and future simultaneously. something that's really interesting about this is that the voice of God never decays, and in the Observer's lore, there's the description of the divine echo, which means that it's not a two-way street. The Observers aren't asking for God's favour, they're just attuning to his voice. For me, this is the difference between overhearing someone and using what you've heard to your advantage, and someone directly telling you something helpful. The Synod as a whole, whilst I was like working the script out, I was like, oh, it feels like they're just listening in for the hopes of something useful. It doesn't say anywhere that God's like, yeah, do this. That's different. There's a difference there.
In previous Trench Crusade episodes where we've talked about this, I was like, oh yeah, they're tuning in, and God's like, oh hey, you got the frequency. Great. Here, let me tell you what to do. Oh no. So they are just essentially eavesdropping on God. And hoping to God, as some would say, that he says something that's useful that they can use to weaponize against hell.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's okay.
Yeah, I don't think that theory of ours is too paranoid, dude. I really don't. I don't think this is a paranoid thing anymore, because something tells me God knows they're listening, and he's maybe dropping little hints, but like, man.
So Shy's put something in the chat here, which I want us to remember and go back to in a little bit, because like all of this is kind of building up to the discussion of like, how much is heaven helping?
Mm-hmm.
What is the war that is happening in Trench Crusade? Is it heaven versus hell? Is it hell versus heaven? Is it hell versus humanity? Like, there's a whole lot of stuff that we're going to go over, but we'll save that bit until we get to the end, because it fits in really nicely with the other sort of theories that I've written in for us to talk about. So we've talked about the Observers. The Synod as a whole is dedicated to just trying to listen better. Every development they make, every floor added to the Gate of God, every receiver and antenna plugged into either the building or just some poor sod's head, all of it is just to facilitate hearing that permanent echo in the hopes that they glean something useful from it. Even down to the tacticians, who can commune with the Council of Saints. I mean, the Council of Saints, and trying to talk to them, frankly, it's a shit show at the best of times, and it tends to result in spiritual battles being fought over Rome between the Lords of Hell and the Council. The tacticians, of course, commune using training from the Synod, special equipment from the Synod, and they're communing with the dead. Again, how much of that is an intentional effect by God? How much of that is heaven reaching out? And how much of it is humanity trying to listen in to information that they're not being given directly?
Oh, almost entirely. That's, Yeah, this is not that. I don't feel like our theory is paranoid, dude. I really, I feel like it is becoming clearer and clearer that, like, God is allowing them to exist to fight, but once
not
this fight
actively
ends,
helping all that much.
Yeah, it feels like, hooray, we've defeated all the sinners. Who's the next target? God? Uh-oh.
The line's gone dead. Can we?
Yep.
So we mentioned the Council of Saints there, and that's like another facet of the Catholic side of things we should talk about, because saints are a big deal, right? Just before we go through a few of these revered individuals in Trench Crusade, as far as I'm aware, saints in the Trench Crusade universe are made in the same way they're made in the real world. I could be totally wrong on this, and I will hold my hands up if at some point the devs go, actually, no, saints are designated a different way, but there's nothing to suggest they aren't. So saints in the real world are made with canonization, which is the act of making someone a saint, especially a deceased someone. It's an official act, and it's decided by a Christian communion. Essentially, to be made a saint people need miracles. Do enough and you're in, kind of. I'm going to level with you. That's a gross oversimplification of the process. There's a whole thing. Like, canonization in the Roman Catholic Church is like a 4-step process, and to go through all of it would add an entire extra page to the script. And frankly, it wouldn't add much. So we're going to keep it simple, and we're going to go with Possum's diluted version. Okay?
Oh boy.
So this is Possum's diluted version of how to become a saint. So step 0, you got to be dead. Real
Gotta
dead.
be. Super dead. Mm-hmm.
Step 1, your old pastor has to say, hey, this one right here would look good on a candle. He was a legend biblically.
Oh, I see. Is that... Wow, Possum, really? Man, he'd look good on a candle. Move on to Saint step number 2.
I should have had you read that bit. I've read that bit like 4 times, and it makes me laugh every time.
Holy. All right.
Step 2, the Pope's HR team reads your life resume and sends it to him on Teams if they think you've got the chops. Step 3, the Pope says, yeah, but did this guy do any tricks? And requests proof of a miracle. They send him a link to the YouTube channel, and the Pope says, Grok, is this true? And a science bishop determines if it's fake or not, a la Mythbusters. Oh, boy.
The Pope asking Grok if the miracle the saint performed is true was not something I expected to hear today, but man...
Welcome to the future, apparently.
Yeah. Welcome to today, welcome to the now, welcome to Possum. Damn.
Oh, my God. Oh, God. Okay, and step 4. The Pope wants one more certified miracle, and if it's good, he calls the lads in, and they schedule a stag do, and you get to update your LinkedIn to add Saint to the front.
Did you say they call a stag do?
Possum specifically called out that this would be an issue. What do you think a stag do is?
I don't you know, back in the old day when they had like the water buffalo meetings for like, I think it was like for a cartoon or something, and it was just like a bunch
I don't know anything about water buffalo meetings.
And it was just like a bunch of it was just like a bunch of old dudes that like wore these like big tall hats, and they would just get around together and like drink and bowl and stuff. I feel like it was a Simpsons thing or something. Yeah, that's what I imagine. Just a bunch of dudes getting together and getting drunk. Just an excuse to like get drunk and be like, oh, it's our secret society, and we're just gonna throw back a couple of Jaegers, and you know, Jaegers. What?
I'm afraid to say that that's not what a stag do is. A stag do is, oh God, what would it be called for bachelor party? Before you get married, you go out with the boys and you get wasted.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a stag do.
I was close.
So in the UK, the men go out on a stag do, and the women go out on a hen party.
Ah, gotcha.
So
Here
there you
it's
go.
A bachelorette party. It's a bachelor party.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, bachelor party and bachelorette party sound far more respectful than stag do and hen party.
Yeah, honestly, when you said stag do, I was just like, yeah, it's probably a bunch of the boys going out drinking. But for some reason, I was just like, yeah, the water buffaloes, I don't know why. The animal references.
Hen party has always felt really weird to me because, like, a hen pecks constantly and just lays eggs all the time. It makes it seem like it's derogatory, but I don't know why.
It just probably started off derogatory, honestly. Like poor women in history have not had the best titles bestowed on them, unfortunately.
That's totally fair. You know what?
There's a part of me that thinks that like way back in like the 60s or something, that probably is why they got called it, which is unfortunate. But yeah, it is
bunch
historically
of nagging, clucking wives just making a bunch of noise, wanting to have children. It's probably that, isn't it?
It probably is, unfortunately.
That's terrible. I hate it.
Again, you think back to like the 60s and even earlier than that, that's probably where it started.
Not a fan. Not a fan of that.
Not a fan at all, but, you know,
not a
unfortunately...
Fan. Now, Possum has pointed out, if you're a martyr, so if you die for your faith, you get a Disney Fast Pass and you get to skip to steps 3 and 4. So, silver linings, I guess. Also, Shy said, all of this can be unironically true for Carlo Acutis, gamer who became officially a saint on the 7th of September 2025. Oh, a recent saint. Wow.
Oh.
So in 2020, he was beatified by the Catholic Church after the church recognition of a proposed 2013 miracle in Brazil attributed to his intercession, while a second miracle in Italy was confirmed in 2024. Acutis was canonized as a saint alongside Pier Giorgio Frassati. Acutis has been referred to as the patron saint of the internet, God's influencer, and the first millennial saint. This is the memorial at Corpus Christi, I've been there, Maiden Lane in London. What a legend.
So what were the miracles, by the by? Like what
happened? I've never heard that's incredible.
I vaguely remember hearing about the patron saint of the internet. I like I said, I vaguely remember hearing that. I don't remember what he did though, and I don't remember what happened.
That's honestly amazing. I don't care what he did. I'm 100% in. That's the patron saint of the internet.
Of the internet, yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Absolutely love it. Again, the fact I've been to mass at Corpus Christi in London like 4 times, which feels really weird to know that the patron saint of the internet has a memorial there.
Yep.
Okay, speaking of saints,
that's cool though. Yeah,
that's crazy. That's awesome. So, talking of saints, but specifically in Trench Crusade, I'm afraid this lad wouldn't be there because it's like 1914 and the internet doesn't exist.
I was going to say, would any of us?
No, I don't know why I said it. We're just going to move on. We know of a few saints, so we're going to start with Saint Dominica of the Zweihander. Amazing name. You can probably guess. You can probably guess what the deal was. She had a massive sword because she had superhuman strength. And the background for her is simply that she was granted favor from the almighty ones. I mean, if you went into this with no other knowledge of the setting, you'd probably go, well, angels or God, or a mix of the two. But we already know that Metachrists can and do routinely intervene in the mortality and strength of human followers. Similarly, wait, did I say that right? I hate
Similarly?
That word. Yep, that's the one.
Mm-hmm.
I always think I've added. Yeah, I lose confidence halfway through. Additionally, we have the Butchered Saint, who no one really knows that much about. All we know for sure is that she has a fancy death mask, she's venerated by the stigmatic nuns who gain their power from the third Metachrist, and that she is missing most of the front of her torso. It's bad. The artwork for her is horrific. I don't like it, but it's very well done.
Have I seen the artwork?
I think you have. Hang on.
Okay.
Let me let me get the picture for you because oh Lord. There we go.
Oh Lord.
And there you go. So the top one is Dominica of the Zweihander. She looks like an absolute legend.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what's so creepy about? I thought the Zweihander one was the one that was missing her torso. I was like,
oh
creepy.
no.
I was like, that's very dripped out, very stylish, big sword that's got. I don't know what's written on it, but I'm sure it's some sort of passage from God. And I was like, wow, she looks great. What are you talking about? And then I saw the second one. And yes, I have seen that one. And boy, it does not get any less unsettling with the passage of time.
Yeah, horrific. Absolutely awful.
Yep, that sucks.
I love that it's like, here is Saint number 1. And it's just a badass woman in armor with a giant sword and a crown. Which looks sick, by the way. And then Saint number 2 is woman with the front of her torso missing.
And death mask that probably hides screaming agony that she is constantly in, what with the whole missing half of my front.
Yep. And of course, you'll note that if you scroll back up, that the arrangement of wings on the death mask is pretty much the same as the horrible Temple of Metamorphosis earlier on.
Yeah, it is. It is basically the same, isn't it? Okay.
Love it. Love repeated themes, me. I'm all in. Mm-hmm. So, the Butchered Saint, venerated by the Stigmatic Nuns, who also venerate the third Metachrist. That's where they get their powers. And she appears in response to prayers uttered by desperate soldiers who have been captured. Once they pray hard enough, they will find that she shows up, talks nicely, quietly, a nice sort of soft voice, and any heretics in the immediate vicinity get horrifically killed as their armor melts into their flesh and their bullets explode in their magazines, at which point she leaves.
Nice. Dang.
Badass.
So if you're praying to her, you want her to show up. If she shows up for you, on your side, it's oh, I'm good. Everybody else is gone. Sweet suit. Hey, great. Glad to see her. Also, how does she talk, by the way? She's got no that part of her isn't that aren't her vocal cords
it's best not
gone?
To ask questions.
Yeah, I know. It was a stupid question. It was dude, who cares? She's literally a saint from God in heaven. Obviously,
I like the idea that's part. I like the idea that's part of the issue, where it's she starts talking. The heretics are wait, she has no lungs or heart or vocal cords.
Yeah.
What is? Oh, and then that's it. She's gone.
Yeah, it's oh yeah, DK. Lady literally shows up. That's missing half her front, and you're just she doesn't have any vocal cords. How does she talk? You're such a dork. Stop it. That's the issue you have with Lady missing her front.
I was gonna say, of all the things to complain about, it's that.
Where are the vocal cords at? She can't talk. All right. Anyway, moving right along.
So, it's stated that she's been kept alive by the grace of God, right? But we also know that trench pilgrims can be kept alive by the seventh Metachrist in the same way, and we also know that stigmatic nuns get stronger through the grace of the third Metachrist. So, is there anything to say that this saint isn't just being kept alive in the same way? Is this actually by the grace of God, or is this just a concerted effort by human-made clones of Jesus Christ?
Well, there's nothing to say that's not what's going on, and given God's involvement thus far, it does tend to make me think that it's more of a concerted effort on the Metachrist's level to keep this saint alive. Right? It do kind of seem like that. Are there any other saints that God is keeping alive that we know he's keeping alive because it is the divine and it's not Metachrist meta nonsense, but
interference.
Yeah, whenever I think the meta, I'm oh, it's video game nonsense. Meta this, meta that. Have you ever met a woman, right? But
oh my God,
this is a little different. This is So anyway, but is there a saint that's oh yeah, God actually loves this saint and is intervening on their behalf?
Well, we do have the saint, which is Our Lady Immaculata Penitence. So she was once just called Sister Loretta. She was a member of a small order of devotees to Saint Dionysia, a martyred saint, and Loretta and her sisters maintained a small hospice in the Sanctuary of the Immaculate Heart in southern Nubia. So they managed to avoid getting caught in the crossfire of the war for quite a long time, but that changed when the Golden Legion showed up and did the whole loot and pillage thing and laid the sanctuary under siege. It didn't take long for Loretta's sisters to die, along with 9/10 of the people trapped with them. And it was going really well for the Golden Legion until the Cult of the Black Grail showed up, and because it's hell, they had a massive fight. The sanctuary that they're in was destroyed in the battle with only a single survivor left. Sister Loretta would rise from the rubble, sort of alive, in the form of Our Lady of Penitence. But there is a catch. Her background states she looks insane. Her background is important because it states maybe the Grail bestowed a gift upon her, or maybe her apotheosis was truly divine, which is ambiguous as hell.
So she might be divine.
Or the cult of the Black Grail. Like, the Black Grail might have also resurrected her. And that is a faction of hell.
I mean, she does kind of give demonic vibes, doesn't she?
She's got wrapped up corpses in her wings.
Yeah, she's
surrounded by wrapped up corpses.
Body bags. She's got, she does not look like, I mean, like there are parts of her that are just like, oh yeah, she has like these sort of like nun-like garbs to her, and she's got like the sun thing behind her, but then it's like, oh yeah, she's also got black wings and corpses all over her. So
she is, I believe, as the kids say, sus.
Yeah, I think the kids do indeed say that. Fun fact, she's drawn by Adrian Smith, who did the very first art of Emperor vs. Horus in 1990.
Yeah, I love that Trench Crusade got so popular that they expanded out, and now we've got artists who did some of the like formulative art for 40k now doing art for Trench Crusade. That is insane. It's so good. I'm so happy about it.
Kind of crazy. Also, that first image of Horus is very different from the one we have now, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Oh boy, yeah. To be fair, I think like 1990.
That was 1990, and this is the formative art for what Warhammer would become. So this is like, I was about to say, oh, this is like the sacred text, and I was like, man, talking about Trench Crusade, I don't know if I really want to see it.
So essentially, that art from Adrian Smith, the first art of the Emperor versus Horus, I was 3.
Oh.
To be fair, getting on for 4. So, you know, like it's crazy. It's crazy that 35 years later, he's working on something like Trench Crusade. That's just awesome. Wait, Adrian Smith did that art?
I was gonna say, look at the progression,
way.
Right? I mean,
that is one of the best bits. I maintain, and I will fight anyone who disagrees with this. That bit of artwork of that Slaneshi Marine, that is one of the core pillars of 40k.
Oh yeah,
it's beyond iconic. It is completely tied to the IP. It's so good, and he did that. I didn't realize that was him. That is incredible.
Wasn't that a Codex cover at some point?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I forget which year, but yeah,
I've seen it somewhere before too. I've seen it.
To be fair,
I've seen it
everywhere.
All over the place. Yeah, I think
they've
it's been
used
shown
it
to
all
me
over the
in
shop.
Countless episodes of Adric. So yeah,
I don't want to. Someone will correct me if this is wrong, but I feel like, because at the time my focus was on Iron Warriors, not Emperor's Children, but I feel like in the Chaos Space Marines Codex, which was 3.5. a black and white version of that was the picture they used on the Emperor's Children pages. And I think that's where I first saw it, which was in like 2003 or something. And it's so upsetting. Oh, he also did that art. The classic Horus versus the Emperor over Sanguinius's body. It's the art.
Oh, I was going to say, like, look at the progression of the first one that he did versus the iconic Emperor versus Horus one. And that, everyone, is why you practice every day and get better and better.
I can't believe I didn't know that. I feel like I've let him down somehow by not realizing it was him that did that piece and the Slash Marine and the initial. Oh my! Oh, love it! Absolutely love it. That's made my evening. Hell yeah, Adrian Smith! What an absolute fucking legend.
Yep. And to swerve this back on track, he also did the
He did the art for the Lady Penitence.
Exactly.
Yes, he
wow.
did. So, yeah, we don't know. We don't know whether it was a case of the Grail bringing her back or whether it was God. There's no definitive statement either way, which makes it way more fun. Also, yes, I don't know what's going on with her sword, but it's absolutely mental. What is it?
Does she, like, actively help humanity, I'm assuming? Because, like, if she was revived by demons, you would think she would start doing, demonic stuff and help demons and kill humans.
It doesn't say. It doesn't say anything about what she does or how she acts after her rising from the ashes.
Interesting. Okay.
There's nothing.
So we genuinely don't know if
we don't know.
Okay.
You can literally go to the Trench Crusade website, go to lore, click on Our Lady Immaculata Penitence, and you will find absolutely nothing past she died and rose again. That's it.
Okay.
Which is the kind of mystery I'm all on board for. I love it. Okay. It's just like, who is this person? Dunno. Anyway, next.
Moving on.
Like, with all that in mind, if you had to make the call of God and heaven are directly helping the Catholic side of humanity, or humanity has been forced to find ways to utilize the word of God and the powers of heaven themselves, which would you go for?
I think we've already come to the conclusion of what I would go for, but it is very clearly they are just finding ways, right? It's not actually God intervening. It's not actually heaven helping them. They are just finding ways to siphon the divinity and use it to stave off, literally, look at that hell portal over there. It sure doesn't seem like God is watching out for them in the same way that he's watching out for, like, the Iron Sultanate.
Now, it's good you mentioned that. So we're going to skip a couple of things with the Iron Sultanate, but you talked about them and the fact that they have this wall.
Mm-hmm.
They do have the wall. And if you take what they say at face value, the wall just appeared. It's a self-healing, impenetrable wonder, manifested itself out of nowhere. So clearly, divine intervention took place, like if you take their word for it. When you look at everything else they do, it does not involve anything divine at all. Nothing. And that's one of the things that make them so interesting. So they've got this insane wall that God gave them, but their weapons are crafted by them. Their like homunculuses and their crazy guardians, their Taquin creations are achieved through alchemy, through learning, through science, and through the Keys of Solomon, which involves magic, but none of that is strictly speaking divine. So if the wall was a result of divine intervention, great. They have the one major miracle that we can properly trace. And everything outside of that, once again, is down to them either manipulating their knowledge of alchemy, their knowledge of magic, and that's it. They don't call upon things like divine intervention for anything else in their arsenal. They don't have things like communicants. They don't have paladins. Instead, they've got alchemy. They have Taquin creations, which are nothing to do with divine influence at all.
Well, I mean, hey, what more can you ask for other than impenetrable wall, right?
I mean, it's pretty good. As one-time favors go, it's pretty decent.
Yeah,
but
they
it
don't
also
want
is the thing
to overstay their welcome, right? Oh, come on, God gave us the impenetrable wall. Let's do all the other stuff on our own, eh? Like we've already been given enough. Right?
It is crazy that the one, like, when it comes to properly traceable huge miracle, it seems to be the wall.
And is that the only thing? Well, I say the only thing, like it's not a big deal. I mean, it's a big deal for the Iron Sultan. It's not a big deal for everybody else. Is that really the only miracle that like God has bestowed upon all of these humans that are fighting and dying to, you know, essentially win this divine war for him?
This is the thing. There's talk of like battlefield miracles. There's talk of crazy things happening. But in terms of actual provable in universe, we 100% know this was God's intervention. There's the wall, provided you take it at face value, and not much else. You could say that the trench pilgrims are evidence of constant miracle work because, they go to the front line, whether they like it or not. But really, there's not a huge amount out there to say that heaven is directly intervening. So we've talked about the covenant of hell, right? And the fact that true demons can't set foot in the mortal realm without breaking that covenant. So there is another important question, which is, what about angels? Demons don't dare step foot, but is there anything stopping angels from doing it? Technically, it would appear that nothing is stopping them from doing it. There is one example of an angel being seen in Trench Crusade, and it's very similar to the biblical description of an angel showing up in an Assyrian camp and killing 185,000 people. In Trench Crusade, the soldiers experience the presence of an angel. They get some warning. There's a trumpet blast. They know not to look at it, but they can't help but see it. The angel in question steps down from the sky in a torrent of light, and when it spoke, it was like thunder. They couldn't understand what it said, and the mere sound of it drove them insane, with several finding creative ways to permanently remove themselves from the situation, and the main character finding that his head was suddenly on fire. We know from that angels are massively, horrifically destructive. Their presence, their appearance, just the sound of their voices are enough to drive believers, the faithful of God. It drives them insane to the extent that they will end their own existence in reaction to it, or burst into flames just from being near it. Sure, the heretics probably had a worse time, right? But if heaven is really trying to prevent hell from fully overrunning the earth, casually wiping out your own troops by dropping the equivalent of a small nuclear bomb, but with added insanity, onto the front lines every time you directly intervene, it's not going to help all that much when you get right down to it.
It's also interesting that, like, the believers have essentially the same reaction to an angel that the heretics do, where they're just like, oh my God, my head's on fire. Oh my God, I have to end my life. Oh my God, this thing is just looking at it makes me want to. And it's like, you would think that the divine would be like, oh yeah, as long as you're a believer and as long as I have put my like love in you, the angel shouldn't affect you, right? It's strange that the angel is like also just very destructive towards stuff that is also air quotes on its side.
I think it's just too much. Like, it's physically and mentally too much for anyone to comprehend. There's, in the Bible, like, when it comes to angels showing up, they use the phrase, be not afraid.
Yeah, they do.
And there's a reason for it. Weirdly, I hate using this reference because I'm not a huge fan of this show, but Supernatural, my wife loves it. She's watched the entire thing through like 5 times.
Wow. I've never seen a single episode.
Oh my God, don't. So there is a point where when a major character, Castiel, who is an angel, appears, he makes the comment that when he's not in a mortal vessel, who had to sacrifice his life for him to be able to inhabit it, when he's not in this mortal vessel, he's like 100 stories tall, and just talking would kill you.
Wow.
I mean, it feels like it's kind of like that in Trench Crusade, where just the idea of it is so alien, so other, so completely overwhelming that you simply cannot survive an encounter with one, because as a mortal being, you are simply not equipped to deal with it, which is awesome, but also very scary. It's very Lovecraftian in a weird way.
Yeah, man, biblically accurate angels are weird, right?
They really are.
Like, you always think of them as like these just beautiful, like white robe, blonde hair, pristine angel wings, just halo coming down and just giving you a little pat on the head and making everything okay. And then you get the biblically accurate ones that are just, like you said, they're like these Lovecraftian Cthulhu monsters. I don't want to say monster because it's still an angel, but it's just like, you need a little be not afraid, because hey, don't worry, I know I look a little strange, but like, trust me, I'm here for you. Like,
that's the thing. A lot of artwork especially has kind of defaulted angels to hot guy / hot girl with a pair of wings and a halo, and that's what you get, and they're dressed in white and they're super kind of flowy and, oh, look at this amazing ethereal creature. But then you've got stuff that's like, and it had 8 wings, and 2 of the wings were covering its feet, and 2 of the wings were covering its midriff, and it had eyes all over its wings. Or it's like, and there were 9 concentric circles covered in eyes. And it's like, what the fuck is this? What are you talking about? What do you mean it's just a bunch of weird floating circles? And that is the thing that never really, I say never, I feel like increasingly it does get talked about, because frankly, let's be totally blunt and honest here. The weird as hell angels are way cooler than just some dipshit with a pair of wings. They just are. They're just way more fun. You show me a thing that is like
more fun,
10 wings with eyes all over them, and I'm going to go, what the hell is that? That's really awesome. What is it? You show me just some idiot with a pair of wings, I'm like, cool. Great.
Just some idiot with wings.
Who cares? It's nothing new. It's nothing different. Get it out of my face. But a bunch of circles covered in eyes, I'm in. I'm
an
100%
amalgamation
in.
of wings, eyeballs, and circles. Sign me up. Some hottie
Hell
with
yeah,
wings.
Dude. Hell yeah.
Please, someone get the meme of who is it? Is it Drake that's like pushing away the one thing and then pointing the finger at the other one because he likes it? We need to get that with Kirioth, but like, oh, idiot.
But with angels.
But the biblically accurate one,
Oh, God. But yeah, I feel like traditionally it's been a lot of ethereal beauty, when really you should be having an equal number of horrifying monstrosity, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't just throw an angel in, right? We know that that's not a good idea because it messes everyone up because of how alien and weird they are. But at that point, what does hell stand to lose by not responding in kind? If heaven is going to start like orbital dropping angels into important engagements, surely the second war between the fallen and their divine siblings is already started. In which case, it's time to step out of the portal to hell and take the rest of the world with you. With all of that foundation laid, this is where we're going to try and decide what kind of war this is. So there's a few options. A proxy war, for one. So hell is sending half demons, they're recruiting humans forcefully or otherwise in order to spread conflict across the mortal world, destroying the creations of God, spoiling his plan, and in response humanity is fighting back because we want to live. And, on the surface at least, they're receiving assistance from God. In this situation, on the surface, we've got 2 superpowers in a centuries-long conflict. Like, remember, the Templars opened the portal to hell in 1099. We are currently in 1914. We are not that far off 1,000 years of suffering and war.
It's almost time.
It's pretty bad. But at the moment, hell can't dispatch real demons. The demon lords of hell can't walk the earth. Heaven has one example of an angel setting foot on the battlefield. This is 2 superpowers in a centuries-long conflict, and neither of them are suffering any real casualties. Instead, humanity is suffering all of the casualties.
That is true. It is pretty much just human losses at this point, isn't it?
No one's losing anything of value.
There's like when fallen you look angel, right? There are angels that have been kicked out of heaven, and
they're already gone. Like when you look at the Yoke Fiends, I mean, what are they? They're just half cow, half idiot. There's no one cares. Even the Ptors are like, oh well, he's half demon, so he's worth some. No, they have to do incredible things to get a seat at the table, and even then, they're not worth as much as a full-blooded demon. So even the ones they put significant time and effort into, they're just not worth fighting for. And at the moment, neither side are actually having to properly sacrifice anything to keep the war going or to attempt to win it.
Well, I mean, if you can fight and win a war without losing any real casualties on your side, that's kind of the way to go. I mean, it does seem like it's just a big war by proxy, though, doesn't it? They're just, let's just proxy some believers and heretics, and they'll do it for us, and let's see who wins. And then once we run out of proxies, I guess we can take the field.
That's the thing. Like initially, it's like, okay, it's probably just a proxy war. It's just 2 powers going at it without having to sacrifice anything of their own. But there is an extra consideration when it comes to a proxy war, which is that God, generally speaking, does not give straight answers, or at least not anymore. A fair bit of the Old Testament is him giving very direct responses.
Yeah.
But the New Testament has a lot more of the emphasis on being ineffable. It could well be that the war in Trench Crusade has something of a Between Two Fires flavour to it. So, Between Two Fires is a brilliant horror historical fiction novel by Christopher Buhlman, which tells the story of Thomas, a French former knight who escorts a young girl called Delphine across France, as the country is ravaged by the Black Death. In this timeline, the Black Death was introduced by Lucifer and his fallen angels as they start another war against heaven. Now, if that's enough for you to want to go and read it yourself, me and Possum both highly recommend this book. It is fantastic. We both love it. And you will probably want to skip ahead a bit in this episode to avoid spoilers starting now, because it's weirdly relevant to what we're talking about. So one of the big themes reinforced at the start of every chapter is the idea that while the Black Death spreads and millions die, God does nothing, specifically using the phrasing, and the Lord made no answer. So demons are walking the earth, corrupting and tormenting humanity, and the Lord made no answer. Thomas is repeatedly tempted and tested by devils puppeting the dead, by twisting dreams that cause real actions that he finds deplorable and immoral. The Lord made no answer. While some of his angels, weakened and beset by demons, sacrificed themselves on earth, the Lord made no answer. You get the idea. You're probably thinking that it's...
go ahead.
No, go on.
I was going to say, this is sounding like, what is it? Is it the Book of Job? Where the God and the devil are in this little agreement, and it's God's just like, oh yeah, this is my favorite servant ever. He is so loyal. He is incorruptible. There is nothing you can do that will make him renounce my name and his faith in me. And then the devil's just like, okay, bet. And then just makes his life as miserable as he can. And God just kind of has to watch and have faith that, Job will still be righteous because, doesn't he kill like his whole family or something? They fall to sickness. He becomes really ill, and Job gets obliterated by the devil. And I'm pretty sure Job doesn't ever actually relent, right? And he stays
faithful to the end.
Yeah. Which is wow. Yeah. That is a loyal servant indeed.
That
sounds like that.
Yeah. Yeah, you are absolutely correct. So you are probably thinking it sounds horrifically depressing and bleak, which most of the book is, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
But it's another case of it's like all is not lost, because eventually that repeated phrase, and the Lord made no answer, it changes to the Lord made answer, because there was always a plan.
Mm-hmm.
God had an answer, but even the vessel he/Jesus had chosen to be carried in, didn't understand what it was. For most of the book, Delphine was an innocent young girl, but by the end of it, she was the gate through which Michael and his army of angels would charge forth and sweep the demons from the face of the earth. And Thomas, upholding his oaths to keep her safe, was one of the things that guaranteed that would happen. So, on the surface of it, demons are roaming the earth, the Black Death is killing millions, it is a hellscape nightmare, and God is doing nothing. Except in the background, God always had a plan. He was always working. He was working through one specific girl. Thomas wasn't necessarily being manipulated by God. He just had to be the person that he was at his core, which is a good person.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as he stuck to that, the plan would come to fruition. In Trench Crusade, it looks like everything is awful, and it's impossible for it to get any better, but there could be a plan. Like, how do we know if God is working his purpose out? We don't.
That's true. While it might seem like he is just ignoring everyone and like, he's not giving humanity anything, it's like, well, it could be part of the plan to just wait and watch, or there could be someone that he is working through that we don't know yet, and it's just all part of the plan, and it's like, oh, he was watching us all along and just waiting for that pinpoint right moment to just break it open. That's true.
Yeah.
It's happened before.
There's a whole ineffability thing, there's like an unknown plan, it's what God chose. There could be something in the background that effectively means that all of the suffering was for a purpose, and that it all becomes either resolved or even reversed. But how would you know? How would you actually know at any given point?
Until it happens, there's no way of knowing. Until the plan has been laid bare.
Yeah, and in fact, actually, this is a good point to go back to that thing that Shai posted earlier. So are you okay to go and read that? Because I feel like that highlights it really well.
Let's see. The Parable of the Drowning Man?
Yes.
Okay, I can indeed read this. A storm descends on a small town, and the downpour soon turns into a flood. As the waters rise, the local preacher kneels in prayer on the church porch, surrounded by water. By the by, one of the townsfolk comes up the street in a canoe. Better get in, preacher, the waters are rising fast. No, says the preacher, I have faith in the Lord. He will save me. Still, the waters rise. Now the preacher is up on the balcony, wringing his hands in supplication, when another guy zips up in a motorboat. Come on, preacher, we need to get you out of here. The levee's gonna break any minute. Once again, the preacher is unmoved. I shall remain. The Lord will see me through. After a while, the levee breaks, and the flood rushes over the church until only the steeple remains above water. The preacher is up there, clinging to the cross, when a helicopter descends out of the clouds, and a state trooper calls down to him through a megaphone. Grab the ladder, preacher, this is your last chance. Once again, the preacher insists the Lord will deliver him. and predictably, he drowns. A pious man, the preacher goes to heaven. After a while, he gets an interview with God, and he asks the Almighty, "Lord, I had unwavering faith in you. Why didn't you deliver me from that flood?" God shakes his head. "What did you want from me? I sent you 2 boats and a helicopter." Ooh.
Yeah, it's very appropriate. It feels...
It feels appropriate. Where it's
Yep.
like, maybe God sent them the knowledge to work the Metachrist the way they did, to get the divinity themselves. And so, yeah, maybe it's that sort of mysterious plan and delivering things in a very ungodlike way that is the way he's stepping in. True. Maybe we're not. Maybe the paranoid theory isn't real.
And to finish it off, now that hope has been restored somewhat, now that there could be some plan behind it all, some way of actually defeating hell, another distinct possibility is that heaven is prepared for all-out war with hell, but they're in a position where they simply don't need to commit. Like, going by Revelations, humans are shit out of luck, but God and his armies will inevitably win, and that's that. But if things are in fact a bit more fluid in the world of Trench Crusade, it's possible that conflict wouldn't be a foregone conclusion, that all-out war between heaven and hell would be devastating for both sides, and that heaven risks losing. In that situation, when you already have a world full of humans fighting against your ancient enemy for you, in your name, and all you have to do is ignore the fact that they're cloning your son, who is also you, and trying to listen to you talk in your sleep, why wouldn't you just let it run? What's the motivation to stop it? If you directly intervene, hell could kick off Revelations 2 Electric Boogaloo, but if you let humanity fight, they could pull off something amazing and actually wound your eternal enemy, the one thing you have to worry about. Why would you bother stepping in? You just wouldn't, would you?
I mean, and I guess that's true for both sides, right? Like, if you're heaven, why would you step in? If you're hell, why would you step in? Both sides have very loyal armies that are willing to, potentially drive out and wound your immortal enemy. There's no reason for either of them to really, step into the conflict just yet.
Yep.
There's no reason to kick off the Cold War, right?
That's, you know what? The final paragraph in this, you've nailed it immediately. There is a hint of Cold War to all of it. Mm-hmm. Hell doesn't want to overstep. Heaven doesn't necessarily want to throw angels at the front lines. All the while, humanity is, as the phrase goes, up shit creek without a paddle. And you can just sit back and watch.
Yeah, in Trench Crusade, the worst thing you can be is a human. Absolutely.
100%. Yep.
No matter who wins, we all lose.
Yeah. Almost as though.
Once that eternal war starts, if there's any humans left, you're done. You are so done.
Yep. No matter what you do, you're not going to make it out in one piece.
Like, if you're on the side of heaven, it's like, well, that's great. You're probably going to die to an angel when they start, jumping onto the battlefield. Even if you're not, it's like, well, the demons of hell are pouring out. Demon generals are everywhere. They're probably going to get you. The only thing that'll save you is probably an angel, which, as we just explained, not going to help you. Oh, man, it sucks.
Bad times all around for humanity. And, well, I was going to say and. Alternatively, if you're not in Trench Crusade, but you do enjoy episodes like this, there is a new podcast that you should check out. How smooth, how buttery smooth was that? I've ruined it by pointing it out, but we are doing another podcast called Acceptable Losses. We are covering grimdark universes. We are doing speculatory episodes just like this one, covering things like Trench Crusade, and God knows what else. There's a million worlds out there that are full of absolutely awful scenarios that we are going to talk to you about, and you should go and check it out.
Hell yeah. I'm assuming there is a link in the description or something like that. 'Cause the first episode should be out soon, yeah?
Now, right, Shay?
Right smack now? It's out now.
It's out now.
It's out
We have
now.
confirmation. And it's not dissimilar to what we've talked about here.
No, it's actually
thematically on point.
Yeah. So you should check it out now.
Grim darkness. Universes where might is right and those cynical enough to thrive cast an oppressive shadow over those scouring through the ruins of their lives for a shred of hope. Though its name came from Warhammer 40,000's famous tagline, dark and futile worlds of fiction have thrived for generations in all genres. There's the grim clashing of twisted steel in the Black Company, the gilded neon alleys of Shadowrun, and the towering war machines of Battletech, just to name a few. It's hard to find solace when you're in the trenches against hell itself, and impossible to retreat to the streets when they are being bled dry by warring clans of kindred. In these worlds, morale is low, stakes are high, and there's no hope to spare. You may not want to set the world on fire, but most of these dystopian regimes have, and they view the victims of their actions as nothing more than acceptable losses.